Hello, Dallas Cowboys Today News, and welcome back to the ultimate hub for everything Dallas Cowboys. I'm your host, Tom Downey, and today we're diving headfirst into some absolutely seismic developments coming out of the Cowboys training camp as we gear up for the 2025 NFL season. If you're a diehard fan of America's team, you're in the right place, because we've got exclusive insights, jaw-dropping updates, and a deep dive into two players who could make or break the Cowboys roster this year. Buckle up, because we're talking about safety Donovan Wilson and tight end Luke Schoonmaker, two names that are sparking major buzz and raising eyebrows across the NFL landscape. If you love free, daily, in-depth coverage of your Dallas Cowboys, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's cross that finish line together. Now, let's get to the breaking news. Let's start with the bombshell that's got Cowboys fans talking. Safety Donovan Wilson is officially on the roster bubble. Yes, you heard that right, one of the longest tenured players in the Cowboys' defensive backfield. A guy who's been a mainstay for 6 seasons is facing serious heat as we head into training camp. According to an in-depth position group breakdown by Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Wilson's spot on the 2025 roster is anything but guaranteed. This is a massive storyline, folks, because Wilson has been a cornerstone of this defense, known for his hard-hitting style, his knack for timing blitzes, and that undeniable spark he brings when he's at his best. But here's the kicker. Harris labeled Wilson as a bubble player, and that's raised some serious questions about his future in Dallas. With young talent nipping at his heels and a contract year looming, the Cowboys could save a whopping $7 million in cap space by cutting ties with Wilson before the season starts. That's not just speculation. It's a real possibility that's got the front office and fans alike buzzing with anticipation. So, what's going on with Donovan Wilson? Let's break it down. Wilson is coming off off-season knee surgery, which limited his participation during OTAs and minicamp. That alone is enough to make fans nervous, but reports out of training camp suggest he's hitting the ground running, trying to fend off the young guns who are gunning for his starting role. The Cowboys' secondary is stacked with talent, and Wilson's position as a starter is no longer a lock. Names like Malik Hooker, Juanyeh and Marist Bell are listed as roster locks by Harris, and for good reason. Hooker brings veteran savvy and elite range as a free safety. Thomas is a special teams standout with developmental upside. And Bell? He just signed a multi-year extension and has been turning heads with his versatility across the secondary. These guys are not just depth players. They're legitimate threats to Wilson's spot on the depth chart. But it doesn't stop there. There's another name you need to know, Elijah Clark, an undrafted free agent who's making waves in camp. The Cowboys liked Clark enough to give him a significant signing bonus, and he's got the potential to start on the practice squad, or maybe even climb higher if he shines in the preseason. If Clark shows out while Wilson struggles, we could see a seismic shift in the safety room. Imagine this: Wilson, who's been a starter or key rotational player for years, suddenly finds himself as the 4th safety on the depth chart with a $7 million cap hit. At that point, the Cowboys front office has to ask themselves a tough question. Is Wilson's leadership and veteran presence worth keeping? Or does his inconsistency, especially in coverage, make him expendable? This is the kind of drama that makes training camp so electrifying, and it's a storyline we'll be watching closely as the weeks unfold. Now, let's talk about why this situation with Wilson is so critical. When Donovan Wilson is on his game, he's a game changer. Picture him flying around the field, delivering bone-crushing tackles, and timing blitzes with surgical precision. That's the Donovan Wilson who's been a fan favorite in Dallas, the guy who brings an X factor to a defense that thrives on physicality. But here's the flip side. When Wilson's off, he's a liability, particularly in coverage against tight ends. That's where the doubt starts to creep in. The Cowboys' defense under Mike Zimmer relies on versatility and reliability in the secondary, and if Wilson can't hold up in pass coverage, the young guys waiting in the wings could steal his spot. The fact that the Cowboys didn't cut Wilson after June 1 to save that $7 million suggests they're still evaluating his on-field value, not just looking at the financial side. If they were purely focused on saving money, they could have designated him a post-June 1 release earlier in the offseason. That tells me the front office still believes in Wilson's ability to contribute, but only if he proves he's worth it. Let's talk about the competition. Malik Hooker is a veteran leader who's locked in as the free safety. His range and ability to read the quarterback make him a cornerstone of the secondary. Juanyeh, meanwhile, is a rising star who's carved out a role on special teams while showing flashes of potential on defense. And then there's Marist Bell, who's been a revelation with his ability to play multiple positions in the secondary. Bell's recent extension shows the Cowboys' confidence in his future, and he's not just fighting for a roster spot, he's pushing to be a starter. Add in Elijah Clark, who's got the coaching staff intrigued, and you've got a safety room that's bursting with talent. If Wilson slips even a little, or if one of these young players takes a massive leap in camp, the writing could be on the wall. The Cowboys have to weigh Wilson's experience and physicality against the upside of these younger, cheaper options. It's a classic case of veteran reliability versus youthful potential, and the outcome could shape the Cowboys' defense for years to come. So, what's the verdict on Donovan Wilson? If he holds on to a starting role or stays in the top rotation, his value as a leader and a tone setter might be too much to let go. But if he slides to the third or fourth safety spot by the end of August, don't be shocked if the Cowboys make a bold move to cut him. It's not just about the money, it's about value versus role. I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. Should the Cowboys keep Wilson or cut him? Drop a K for keep or a C for cut in the comments below, and let's get the conversation going. This is one of the most intriguing battles in training camp, and it's only going to get hotter as we head toward the regular season. Now, let's pivot to another massive storyline that's flying under the radar, but could have huge implications for the Cowboys' offense, the battle at tight end. Nick Harris didn't hold back in his analysis of the tight end room, and he dropped a bombshell about Luke Schoonmaker, the Cowboys' second-round pick from just last year. According to Harris, Schoonmaker is considered safe on the roster, but his role as the TE2 behind Jake Ferguson is far from secure. That's right, folks. Schoonmaker, a guy the Cowboys invested significant draft capital in, is facing serious competition from an undrafted free agent named Brevin Spann-Ford. This is shaping up to be one of the most underrated battles in training camp, and it's got all the makings of a classic underdog story. Let's set the stage. Jake Ferguson is the undisputed TE1 in Dallas. He's a proven playmaker, a reliable target for Dak Prescott, and a key piece of the Cowboys' passing game. There's no debate there. But the TE2 spot, that's where things get juicy. Schoonmaker was supposed to be the heir apparent to Dalton Schultz, a versatile tight end who could block, catch, and contribute in all facets of the game. The Cowboys drafted him in the second round with high expectations, banking on his athleticism and potential to develop into a complete tight end. But here's the problem. Schoonmaker has been too quiet. We're not hearing the kind of buzz you'd expect from a second-round pick entering his second year. No glowing reports from OTAs, no standout moments in minicamp, and certainly no indication that he's ready to seize the TE2 role with authority. That's a red flag, Cowboys Nation, and it's opened the door for someone else to step up. Enter Brevin Spann-Ford, a 6'7", 270-pound behemoth who went undrafted last year, but is now turning heads in a big way. The coaching staff and media have been raving about Spann-Ford's performance in OTAs and minicamp, and offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer dropped a quote that's got everyone talking. He said, "Spann-Ford has already taken the leap." That's not just coach speak, folks. That's a ringing endorsement from a guy who knows what it takes to succeed in this offense. Spann-Ford's size and strength make him a natural fit as a blocker, and according to multiple camp observers, he's already outshining Schoonmaker in the run game. That's huge, Because in Dallas, the TE2 role is often more about blocking than receiving. The Cowboys love to pound the rock, and a tight end who can seal the edge or open lanes for Ezekiel Elliott and the running backs is worth his weight in gold. Let's compare the two. On paper, Schoonmaker has the edge in athleticism. He's got the speed and agility to be a threat in the passing game, and the Cowboys hoped he'd develop into a well-rounded tight end who could complement Ferguson perfectly. But the production just hasn't materialized. According to Pro Football Focus, Schoonmaker's run blocking grade last season was underwhelming, and the tape backs that up. He struggled to make an impact as a blocker, and his receiving numbers haven't exactly set the world on fire either. Span Ford, on the other hand, is a mountain of a man who's already showing he can dominate in the trenches. He's not as polished as a pass catcher yet, but he's reliable in short yardage situations and has the physical tools to develop into a red zone threat. If Span Ford can hold his own as a blocker and make a few plays in the passing game, he could leapfrog Schoonmaker on the depth chart. This tight end battle is a classic case of high draft pedigree versus raw, hungry talent. Schoonmaker has the draft investment and the athletic traits, but he's under pressure to prove he was worth that second-round pick. Span Ford, meanwhile, has the size, the strength, and the momentum. He's the underdog who's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. If Span Ford wins the TE2 job, Schoonmaker isn't going anywhere this year due to his cap situation, but his long-term future in Dallas could be in jeopardy. Imagine the headlines: undrafted free agent steals job from second-round pick. It's the kind of story that makes training camp so compelling, and it's going to be a battle to watch when the Cowboys head to Oxnard. So, who are you backing in this tight end showdown? Drop a BSF for Brevin Span Ford or an LS for Luke Schoonmaker in the comments, and let's hear your thoughts. This is one of those battles that could fly under the radar, but have a massive impact on the Cowboys' offensive identity. A strong TE2 gives the Cowboys flexibility in their formations, whether they're running the ball or attacking through the air. If Span Ford emerges as the guy, he could be a secret weapon in short yardage and goal line situations. If Schoonmaker steps up, he could finally live up to his draft billing and give the Cowboys the dynamic tight end duo they've been dreaming of. Either way, this is a storyline you won't want to miss. As we wrap up, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Cowboys are heading into the 2025 season with sky-high expectations, but training camp is where the roster takes shape. Battles like the ones we're seeing at safety and tight end are what separate good teams from great ones. Donovan Wilson's fight to hold onto his starting role is a test of his resilience and leadership. Luke Schoonmaker's battle with Brevin Span Ford is a clash of potential versus production. These are the stories that define a team's identity, and they're the reason why training camp is one of the most exciting times of the year for NFL fans. I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about Donovan Wilson's future in Dallas? Is he a must-keep veteran, or is it time to move on and let the young guys take over? And what about the tight end battle? Are you Team Schoonmaker, banking on his athleticism and draft pedigree? Or are you all in on the Brevin Span Ford hype train? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. And if you're as pumped as I am about this Cowboy season, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for daily updates, exclusive insights, and all the breaking news you need to stay locked in with America's team. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, so hit that sub button and join the movement.